All right, gang, welcome back to our Vanilla Survival Challenge here on Maypole Farm with a twist. It is still November. We are trying to finish up the baling here off this field, right? In the last episode, we decided to make a bit of a shift to what the initial plan was. That plan is still going to happen, but we decided to do a shift and actually mow all of this grass up and turn it into bales, and then hopefully put down goats or sheep, one of the two, hereafter. Instead of just plowing up this grass and kind of wasting it, we figured we might as well bale it all up, utilize it for some form of an animal, which the easiest obviously are going to be sheep or goats, and then make a little bit of extra money off of this field. And so that's what we did. So we're in the process here of trying to get the remainder of the grass all baled up. There's still quite a few more passes that we have to do before we will be there. But nonetheless, we are, we're making good progress, right? How's everyone doing today? I hope you're doing well. Things are good, man. Today our main objective is to get this done, get the pin down for the sheep or goats, whichever one we decide to do. I'm kind of, I think, leaning towards goats, but I'm not 100% sold on them yet, but that's what I'm leaning towards. Now, we are just going to have one pin down. It's not going to be a massive pin. I kind of showed it in the last episode, but I'll show it again here in a little bit where we're going to put it. You know, it's not going to be anything major. So all the bales that we're getting here off this field, ideally, realistically, they're probably going to be plenty for the remainder of the series here. The odds are we're not going to probably utilize all of these bales. But if for some reason we do, or for some reason in the future, maybe we decide to do some other animal that requires some form of grass of one way or another, then, you know, we'll make a decision at that point. But really my intent here, and the reason why I'm selling all the equipment we've purchased here for these grass fields after we're done with what we're doing, is because we're not, you know, our real goal here is we're not really planning to do any kind of specific mowing on this series, at least not right now. Like I said, if it's going to happen, it's going to be later on in the series. How's everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing well. Time of this recording is a couple days before I head to Vegas. I've mentioned that a number of times. I'm not going to go into it again here. I've talked about it enough, I feel like. But yeah, by the time this comes out, I will actually be in Vegas. So hopefully I'm doing well in that poker tournament. Hopefully I'm still in. I think this one would come out, I think, on Wednesday. So hopefully I made it past the first day, and hopefully I'm playing again right now. Couple more passes to do here, and we are done with all of the grass here, and then we can, like I said, put down, or plop down, I guess, an area for the likely goats, and then from there we'll start working on plowing up this field here. Now, as far as the field specifically goes, my intent, my goal here is I think I want to do, at least initially here, I think I want to turn this into 2 fields. Might be a little weird to say that, but I think this is going to be a pretty large field, and I think turning it into 2 fields for the time being might be a smart approach for us. Instead of having one massive field we have to deal with, turn them into 2 smaller ones, and we can at least, you know, stagger the drilling of those and the harvest of those, right, between 2 different months, depending on what we're putting in, right? So that's likely what we're going to do. A lot of you now at this point, the video where I asked questions about potentially purchasing this land that we obviously have at this point right now, a lot of you have, you know, provided your comments and your insight on that, and everyone for the most part has all agreed that this is perfectly fine. All the equipment we have to buy is super expensive, and just by the fact of what we have purchased so far, that should tell you all you need to know about how expensive it is, right? So I agree with all of you. That's kind of the approach I was intending to take regardless, but I still did want to have your input, because if you all thought it was, you know, maybe it was too cheaty of some sort, and I wouldn't say it's cheaty. That's not. I'm I'm blanking on the word I'm really trying to utilize here. But if all of you thought it was, you know, bending the rules a little bit too much, maybe that's what I should say, then I wasn't going to do it, right? But that didn't seem to be the case, so, and I'm happy about that. We were able to get this land, which is a fantastic amount of land for us. It's going to be really, really useful as we move forward. It's going to be our main yard, as I've mentioned a couple of times, and gives us plenty of opportunity, plenty of room to expand and do other things with it, right? So Very, very, very cloudy day today. Very much a, I guess foggy is really what you could call it, more than cloudy. But yeah, it's not the easiest to see right now, but it also is November, so you kind of probably would expect that a little bit, a little doom and gloom type of approach here, or view, I guess I should say. Approach probably isn't the right word to use there. But yeah, we're cruising along nicely here, man. We really are. I got to get that bale out of the way. I'm just going to push it out of the way because I don't really have any other way to move them right now. Now, a problem I'm seeing that we're going to be dealing with here, I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to get them. I hope if we decide to go with the approach of the wagon, the loading thing that picks up the bales. There's a lot of those bales that are like in the middle of that fence. I feel like for some reason we're going to run into an issue over there trying to get those out of there. Now I did see a comment from someone, and I apologize. I should have captured it before I started this recording, but I didn't. But I did see a comment from someone that maybe potentially look at utilizing a forklift in this area, and I do think a forklift for the yard here makes a lot of sense. I really do, because this tractor doesn't have the ability for a front loader, right? And we've already made a tractor upgrade. We'd already modified our tractor, which we didn't have to do. I know a lot of you said that and called it out rightfully so. We didn't have to, but I did anyway. But maybe a forklift is the way to go in this area. And if we get a forklift, then necessarily we wouldn't really need that loading wagon, whatever, transport wagon, whatever you want to call it. Transport trailer, I guess is really what it is. And that would probably be, well, I guess I shouldn't say that. I don't know. Base game, vanilla game, I don't know. But I was going to say it'd probably be a little bit cheaper to go the forklift route than that one, because I do know that trailer, it's like $50-something thousand, I think. It's not cheap. I would think we'd be able to get a forklift for somewhere in the 30-ish, maybe 40 range, so it's a little bit cheaper. So that might be the way to go. I guess we'll find out, right? Right, I think for the most part this field's done. There are a couple little spots that I missed, and I don't think we're going to get a full bale out of it, but I am just going to go ahead and grab it anyway. The odds are we're not going to even be able to unload this, but I'm just going to clean it up anyway just to make it look a little bit better. It's November. It's not a big deal, right? We've got plenty of time here in the winter months to try to get this field that's going to be turned into two, in a better state, right? We've got plenty of time for that, so it's not a big deal, but all right, I think that's enough. Lots and lots of bales down here. Lots and lots of bales, for a matter of fact. So we need to go and sell both of these pieces of equipment. So I'm going to go ahead and unload this really quick here if it lets me. I don't think it's going to, though, because it's not a full bale. So I probably am just going to have to lose this one, unfortunately. But let me just make sure. Yeah, it's not going to let me do it. It says we got 55 bales. Is that right? 55 bales out of that? I guess it is. I mean, look, there's a ton of bales down here, so I guess 55 is correct. I mean, they're the small bales, to be fair. Yep, see all these in here? This is what I'm talking about. These are the ones I feel like we're going to have an issue trying to get those out. So maybe the forklift is the way to go. I don't know. Anyway, let's go ahead and put down a pin here really quick for... I'm going to go goats, I think. And I said I was going to put it here, so we're going to stick with that. It's not going to be the biggest one in the world. It doesn't really need to be, though. Let's see. What are our choices here? So this sheep pasture gives us 500. Really? 500? Oh, no. There are too many animal pens. Please sell some first. Are you kidding me? I just wasted all of that time for no reason. I can't even do anything with this? Are you serious? Man, that is... Are you kidding me? Does it say that for all of them? There's too many animals. Are you serious? I didn't even realize this one is part of Maypole Farms. Remember, I said that's kind of where the twist is, right? We're allowed to utilize anything that's included with the map itself. That's 500 is outrageous for that. I mean, that's not even realistic. I'd probably just go with this one, the standard one. But are you serious? Too many. So how many animal pens are on the map here? What are we dealing with here? Well, I mean, I guess it's got to be here, right? I guess. Yeah, I mean, there just must be. So one other thing I can say is when I was trying to set things up, and I had to take that $5,000 loan out, I was trying, that we paid off like immediately, right? I was trying to set things up. This is not about the series specifically, so just bear with me for a minute. But I was trying to set things up, and it was telling me I couldn't do the trees. So I had to take that $5,000 loan out to get really where I wanted to be at, because I was just going to, start with more money and then spend some of the money on some of these expensive trees to get us to that point, right? But it was telling me too many trees. This is not exactly how I guess I should have tested this, gang. I guess before I went the approach here of getting all these bales, I guess I should have tested all this out to see if this is actually even physically possible or not. Well, now what do we do? Because that's all effed up now. I don't know. I don't know what to do. I guess what I'm going to have to do is sell this stuff, and then I guess look to see if there's any other field we can purchase. I mean, they're all going to be pretty expensive, so the odds are we're probably not going to be able to do it today. How much are forklifts? Base vanilla forklifts. Okay, they're not actually that much cheaper. 55 and 79. I don't even think that's really that much cheaper. The transport was 55, so it's not really any cheaper. We could absolutely use the basic one at 55, but really for what we're trying to do, we'd probably want this one, right? What do we do, gang? What do we do? I guess what we do... This is not the way I had planned this episode to go. And my plan I thought my plan was foolproof. I thought it was going to be great. We were going to have an animal. We're going to have all these bales. We're going to, put it in there. And for the animals themselves, we're going to have them set for pretty much the series. Obviously, we'd have to probably give them a little bit of water, but otherwise set for the series. And they could just sit there and have all the bales stored there and continue to chew through them for us and make us extra money. And now we've come into this issue. Well, I guess the first thing we need to do is take back our equipment here, this one and the windrower, and go and sell these. And then I guess we'll make a decision at that point with what kind of money we have left. This is not how I planned this. Okay, so on the way over here, I had to think. So when we sell this stuff, let's see what kind of money we get out of it, first of all. And then we can look and see if any of these other, yard-like areas maybe has a smaller area that has sheep or something like that. And then we could sell the buildings off of it and utilize that as our sheep area, I guess, for the time being. It's not really what I was hoping for or what I wanted to do, but, I mean, I think it'll work. Oop, no, I don't want... here we go. So we repair it. And yeah, we'll repaint it, and then we can sell it for $48,000. That's pretty good. Same thing here: repair, repaint, and then sell that for almost $19,000. And then I'm going to repair the tractor while we're up here. We'll spend a few bucks on that. All right, so it leaves us with $78,500. So we ended up losing near, it makes no difference, $15,000, $16,000 off of doing that mowing adventure there, if you will. Okay, so This is not what I wanted to do. I'm fully transparent before, and if we find anything, this was not my intention. This was not my plan. Okay, so we've looked at this one before. It's only 39.2. That's not terrible, but I don't think it had a sheep pen. No, it doesn't have any pens. So buying this would literally only be for yard purposes and you're getting rid of it and making money. So I'm not really wanting to do that. We already have a very nice area of our yard. I don't think we need to go to that approach. What about this one? 46320. Okay, what has this got? Does this have a sheep pen anywhere? That's a chicken coop, horse barn, sheep barn. Okay. That is a huge sheep area. That is massive. We can buy this. We really don't need much of any of everything that is here. As a matter of fact, what's actually included here? Okay, so this is not even the sheep portion. The sheep portion is 59.8, excuse me. That's going to take up every bit of money we have, pretty much. If you buy this middle portion with all this other stuff in here, it's going to make us a lot more money. But we don't really need all of this area, though, right? We don't really need it. How do we even get into this, first of all? Well, there's a house here, which would be nice. We don't actually have one of those yet. We've just been kind of sleeping in the barns for a while, or the sheds for a while. How do we even get into here? Where is the entry? Oh, here it is. Okay. All right, so there's 2 entries? Maybe? How far away from this is our main yard? So our main yard's here. Is there an easy way for us? So here, and then up to here. Oh, maybe not. Yeah, it's a long hike. Let's put it that way. It's a long hike. Ideally, we buy, if we're going to do this, we buy like this field here, or this field. I guess this field really, and then we can take part of this out and build a track that kind of runs parallel with this, and then lines up with this, so it's not as far of a hike to get over here. But even doing it that way, I mean, we are still really, really far away. Perhaps what we do, I think we talked about this a couple episodes ago. Perhaps we do this one. We get this field, and then we can just put a track right through here. That's going to be the fastest way to get there. It's still a hike. It's at our other area here, but at least it's closer to our other field, right? The only reason why I'm thinking about doing this is because, well, I don't know what else to do with these bales, right? I have no clue what to do with these bales. Okay, so that's all right. That's option 1. Is there anything else? I mean, everything else is probably pretty far away, unfortunately. I don't really think it's worth driving all the way down here. I think that really is our only option. I guess maybe this one. Maybe. It's still pretty far, though. I mean, I guess this is an option we could go to. I guess. I don't know. That's still pretty damn far away, honestly. Right? That's really far away, actually. It's not even pretty far away. It's really far away. This has got to be the one to go with. It's got to be. This is not what I wanted to do, gang. This is not what I wanted to do. Alright, so we can get rid of pretty much everything here then. Well, I don't own any of the actual animal buildings, but that's fine. I'm not getting rid of as much that way, I guess. I don't need this. Liquid fertilizer tank. I don't know why I would need that over here. I mean, I guess I can keep the house here for the house purpose, but I just don't think it's really something I'm planning to utilize, right? Yeah, I think the way to go is to buy this piece of land and then build a track over to here. I think that's going to be the easiest way to do it. Maybe eventually we'll get this one and we can do another track this way as well, right? But yeah. Yeah, I think that's the way to go about this. So I don't really need all this stuff, right? It kind of feels a little cheaty to me right now, but we purchased the land, so I mean, we might as well utilize it, right? I do want to keep some of these buildings here for, I think I'll keep this one so we can have storage. So that gives us $187,000, which is a lot of money, but once we buy this, it's going to be a little bit more reasonable-ish. So we'll buy that. All right, so now we own land for the sheep. Had to buy a lot of other stuff to go with it, but we did buy land for the sheep, and this is more land we can utilize, right? We could turn it into something. 410 sheep. That's a lot of sheep. Okay, so I think at this point, as much as like a forklift would be wonderful to have, I don't think that's the smart approach. The forklift, well, maybe it is. Maybe it is. I was going to say, I don't think this forklift is a smart approach, but then I started thinking again about how many of those bales are probably stuck in the side of the fence there. The forklift is probably the way to go, actually. 79. I really want this one, to be honest with you. I think this one would probably do the trick, but I want this one. I guess we'll go with the trailer board. It's $79,000 for this. It's not cheap. And then we're going to need to get a flatbed trailer. I think that's the way to do this. So this is why, even though it seems like we just kind of, got a shit ton of money, and we did, it's actually not that much money when you think about it. I'm kind of tempted to go with, like, this one, because I'm pretty sure I can turn this into a bale trailer. It's going to take up all the money we have to go that way, though. I guess I can go with the farm tech here. I think it does the same thing. I think it has the option to do the same thing. It does 31. That gives us a little bit more money. So maybe that's the way to go here. We own this one, but it can't be modified, so that's not going to work. Yeah. It gives us another option. We can obviously, go and modify it later on if we need to and have a secondary trailer attached. But really, this is going to be more for the bale transport right now, and then eventually it'll be for transporting what's going to be either wool or milk, whatever we decide to go with, right? I will add a trailer hitch on it for the time being. I'm going to change the color. I don't really love the colors that come with this. I kind of like that, actually. I'm going to go with that. I kind of like the way that looks. 31,750. All right, we have $16,000 left to our name. It's not a ton of money, but it is enough, right? It is enough. It's enough for us to get by. We don't have a loan. We will have to pay fees and stuff overnight because the next episode will be in December. And the next episode likely is going to be a lot about doing the plowing of the stuff, right? We're probably not going to have a ton of time to do any plowing today in this episode, just based off of where we are now, what curveball the map just threw at me with not allowing me to put down a sheep pen. Really not what I was hoping or wanting to do at all here, gang, but it is what it is at this point. There's not really much I can do about it. All right, took a long time, but we're pulling back up here. It is starting to go a little dark here, which is it's only almost 5 o'clock, really, so it shouldn't be that dark, but it is November, right? So it does get dark early. So we probably got a good hour of in-game time here before it's going to be really, really dark out. I even have the lights on everything just so I can see easier. Now, I know somebody in the comments is going to be yelling at me, well, you know, what you got, I mean, you should have got a Bale trailer, not this. You're right. I probably could have. I probably should have. The reason I didn't do it, though, is there's a couple reasons. Well, one, I wanted to use this trailer because I know I can turn it into something else, and really, while we're going to have the animals, more specifically, we're going to have the sheeps, right? Or the goats. I might do both, since I can't make my mind up. While we're going to have those, you know, eventually, the goal is really not to have to deal with those two, if that makes sense. And in other words, we're going to be taking the trailer eventually, and it'll literally just be utilized for crops of some sort. We're not going to really be focused on the animals, unless it's pigs, of course. I said we were going to do pigs, and we are going to. Now, speaking of that, somebody in the comments mentioned that, you know, maybe I should think about, at least for the time being, to start off with some, you know, some pigs. You're doing like a greenhouse production for some pigs, and I think that makes a lot of sense. We don't have the money for it right now, obviously, because I had to do what we ended up doing today, but I do think that that has some merit to it for sure, so maybe in the future here we'll look into doing that here on the yard. We've got plenty of room for it. Now that we know we're not putting the sheep and goats over here, we've got plenty of room for it, so... Now, this isn't going to be the most perfect thing in the world, but it will work. As you can see, it clearly works. It's just a matter of us making sure we strap them down so they don't roll off. And it's probably going to be pretty hard for me to do, you know, 2 different rows or layers if you want to, you know, on top of each other. But we will attempt to do that too. I'm not the best at stacking stuff like this, and you know, so don't hold against me too much. Now, like I said, I could have went with that loading thing, which would have been probably a lot easier to do, but I was very concerned about the items that are specific, the bales that are specifically in the fence there. I think it's going to be very difficult to get those out without some kind of a fork to pull them out of there. So that's the reason why we went with this. All right, well, this did not really go to plan here. Let's try to reset this here. They don't have to be perfect. They just have to, you know, they have to be on there and they have to work. That's really it. As long as they get on the actual trailer, I don't really care what they look like. We're going to have to make a couple trips for sure. This is night. Oh, there it is. There's nighttime now. I don't really want to do this at night, if I'm going to be honest with you, so... We're probably going to have to finish the rest of this up in the next one, more than likely. That or I decide just to jump to December at this point, but I don't think I want to specifically do that yet. I'm going to try to put these on top of this one. Maybe not the smartest thing to do, but I'm going to go for it anyway. We're going to attempt it. It seemed to work. They're up there. We'll take it. Kind of in the middle, too, which is what we were hoping for. But anyway, gang, we're going to leave the episode at that point. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash the like and subscribe button for me on the case you have yet to do so. They're free to do. It helps me out a ton. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for your support. Thank you to my members. Cannot thank them enough. There's a link down below if you're interested in that. There's also a link for my Discord and my second channel if you're interested in any of that as well. Thanks for your support. We'll see you next time, gang.